Hey, what is up, guys? It's your boy Speed here. We're back. We're ready to go. And we're going to be looking at mid Dazzle. I just typed the mid Dazzle on my mid tier list or my mid top mids video. And I really believe that this hero is super good. There's only 3 games on Dota 2 Pro Tracker, and so it was a little hard for me to find an example of exactly what I wanted to show. But in today's video, I liked a lot of the things that Yami did. He's also one of the top players in the world right now, rank 84. And there's some adjustments I'd make, which I'm going to cover, but this can be one of the best heroes to snowball your games without ever having a losing mid matchup. It's super nice when you can pick a hero and pretty confidently believe that you will at least go even mid, if not dominate. I mean, if you play Dazzle and you get paired against a Void Spirit, or an Ember Spirit, or an Earth Spirit, or even a Storm, you can dominate these heroes. This hero is really good against low range or melee heroes. He's against a sniper in this game, and he still ends up solo killing him. So let's talk about it. Let's go over the rights and the wrongs, how you can scale, how you can make this hero look really good, because trust me, if you play it right, it is crazy. On top of that, go sign up to the gameleap website, guys. I'm posting new content over there almost every day, and I'll see you there. At level 1, I actually don't like what he has. You don't want Poison Touch in most lanes. He does end up using it on Sniper, but generally it's a little bit hard to keep it going. It's obviously much better to do this against melee heroes, but in general, wouldn't highly recommend it. What I would suggest is taking the E. It's way less mana. It's 50 less mana. And if you use it on 4 targets, if you heal 4 targets, which you won't, but let's say you heal 3 melee creeps and they're on the range creep because the enemy pulled aggro, it's 85 times 3, right? That is like what, a 200 and something damage nuke? I can't do the math. I'm from North America. It's not my problem. But yeah, it instantly kills the range creep from this HP. And so you can immediately secure the range creep. That's going to put 3 melee creeps on the enemy mid, and it creates a lot of pressure very quickly. You shove the wave super hard, which in the mid lane, shoving the wave is generally always a good thing. So he misses the range here. I think he should have his E. I don't really love that. And then from there, the wave's just going to be pushed in, and you're going to be able to play this aggressive wave. You have 305 movement speed, good damage because you're universal, you buy stats, decent armor, and so yeah, you can play super aggressive with your pushed in wave. He doesn't do that here, which is what I super don't like, and that's fine, but let's move on. So yeah, at this point, his goal is to use the Poison Touch almost as much as he can, as he goes for the range. Once again, it's really why I prefer the E. It's also lower cooldown than Poison Touch by more than half. So you can use it twice per wave, plus it heals you for 85. But yeah, ends up CSing here. You can see if you need to secure these creeps, you can easily just use the Poison Touch. He's primarily trying the normal CS. A big opportunity as well on this hero is clicking your E when the enemy is surrounded by the creeps. Keep in mind, if they're touching only 2 creeps, it's immediately an 170 damage nuke. This is one of the highest early game nukes in the game. And if they're hit by 3 creeps, it's a 200, as I was saying, damage nuke. And so crazy damage. You can see nukes here. Gets caught in between, takes a decent amount of damage. I think he only got hit by 1 of them as well, and it still deals a ton of damage. Also, something to keep in mind is the innate weave. If your ability is applied to an enemy, it gives you 1 armor, and it reduces their armor by 1. So every time you hit them with your E or your Q, it doesn't keep applying with the Q, but every time you hit them with an ability, they lose armor. And that's really good for trading, which is another reason to skill the E. Every single time you use it, you get an extra armor, they lose an armor if they get clipped by it. And so that's another reason why this hero dominates mids. It just creates, against low range heroes particularly, it really just dominates them because they have no armor. See, in terms of skill build, I couldn't disagree more with this guy. He skills Shadow Weave at level 2. This ability just doesn't scale that well. It goes up in damage by 20, which is like less than a 20% increase, I'm pretty sure, where Poison Touch doubles in split damage for the facet, which we're going to get into in a second. It nearly doubles in damage per second. The targets goes up from 2 to 4, and the duration increases, as well as the slows, and it barely goes up in mana cost, and it increases in cast range, which is huge because the cast range on Poison Touch sucks in the early levels. So like, it's a no-brainer to me. You skill Poison Touch at level 3. Like, no-brainer in my opinion. Okay, now let's talk about the facet. Why is this facet so good, and why is it what defines Dazzle mid as a flash farming mid hero that can pop off? So every single 4 attacks, Poison Touch will split, assuming the person you're hitting is affected by Poison Touch. When it splits, it deals damage to the target you're hitting with Poison Touch, and it also does damage to everything it splits to. This goes all the way up to 120 damage, and so you can imagine if you can split it really quickly, it does a lot of damage. Also, you're just hitting them a bunch. So 120 split damage, and it splits the Poison Touch, and you can keep splitting Poison Touch off of those split Poison Touches. And Poison Touch can stack. So if you split it, and then split it again off something else, you can put 2, 3 Poison Touches on the same unit. This includes Ancients. Now you can see where I'm going with this. You can put a ton of Poison Touches on Ancients and stacks and farm them really, really fast. And you can do this in team fights to heroes. So this is what's so powerful about Dazzle. You might be like, okay, so I need attack speed. Yep, you're gonna buy treads and you're gonna take the 15 talent, 90 attack speed. At level 10, you get 300 attack range on who's affected by poison touch. So it's really easy to keep it going because you're gonna buy Dragon Lance later on. We'll talk about that. And you're gonna take 90 attack speed, which they just buffed by 10 attack speed. It was 80. And at level 20, it was 60 poison touch DPS. Now it's 75. Man, you can see this is getting buffed a lot, which is why I'm such a big fan. I think it's been good and people are ignoring it and they're buffing it. They're literally trying to tell people, guys, look at this. And I super believe in it as well. I can't believe more people aren't figuring it out. So trying to give it to you guys here. Now, when it comes to the later levels, once you hit level 3, but I would say more so level 4. Once you hit level 4 and you have boots, you can start to push out the wave and jungle. Or you can dominate mid. If the matchup's easy, just dominate mid. If the matchup's harder like Sniper, I would suggest trying to push out the wave and jungle, especially when you hit level 5, just because when you hit level 5, level 7, the poison touch cooldown goes down, but you can push out waves near instantly. You can also just push out the wave with basically only your E, right? It really doesn't take a lot. Couple of auto attacks and nuking the wave, you can see you explode the wave. And so yeah, you can push out the wave with the E and then jungle this camp. And it's really efficient. You can also push out the wave and stack this camp. That's another option he has right here. Instead of immediately approaching the next wave, which we'll get into the solo kill quickly. Not that this was like some crazy solo kill, but the sniper. Oh, look at that nuke. That's why melee heroes can't play the game. Range heroes shouldn't go in the wave like this. Good punish from Yami here. Range heroes should not go in the wave like that. But oh, you see that? Man, that's a lot of damn damage. But yeah, instead of fighting, which worked out for him there, you can just push out the wave, stack this camp, and then while the wave is under the enemy's tower, you get a nice little stack. You come back, you miss like one creep, and you get a beautiful stack, which you can easily take at level 5, and even easier at level 7. So next up, in terms of items, there's 2 avenues you can go. You can either rush treads, which personally, I like rushing treads. I think it's good to be very greedy on this hero. He buys a bracer, and I understand. I think going bracer, wand, raindrops is the way to fight on this hero. But I don't like fighting on this hero. I think it's really bad at fighting. In fact, I even think a lot of the time it's not even worth taking Shadow Weave level 2 if you want to fight. You should take Shallow Grave. But I do think it's good to take Shadow Weave level 2, mainly with the intention of saving Poison Touch, shoving the wave as fast as you can with the Gloves of Haste, and then clicking your E, and then going to farm with Poison Touch, and just rinse repeating. I think this is the best way to play the hero. Look, you hit the big creep, and it splits the Poison Touch. That will instantly kill off the medium creep, as he moves his camera top, because the medium creep gets hit by 2 poison touches. So you can farm the big creep by just hitting it to death, and the medium and the small creep will just die. And it's really efficient. Instantly nukes the mid wave, which is why, again, you can use poison touch. Once you hit level 6, you can use poison touch on the wave, because you can just lower the cooldown with your ulti. If you don't know how the ulti works, is it costs you health to use it, which has been buffed a bunch, by the way. It used to be much harder. And it reduces cooldowns on only abilities, not items, only abilities by 4 seconds, which is a ton. 4 seconds. So then you can use Poison Touch mid and then Poison Touch on neutral camps. And again, you're going to hit one of the creeps. Then you actually want to hit, so he's making a mistake here. You want to hit the other creep once now. Because if you hit the other creep once, it reapplies this initial Poison Touch. And then you have 2 Poison Touches going. And that's how you farm it really quickly. And I'm going to get into how to farm Ancients efficiently because he's doing it. This is fine because it ends up applying another Poison Touch, but you can be a little bit more efficient by divvying up your auto attacks just a little. Again, very simple gameplay. You push out mid, you farm a camp, you push out mid, you farm a camp, or you push out mid, you stack a camp, optimally at some point Ancients. I like what he does here. This is pretty cool. You will have some mana problems, so I recommend buying plenty of Clarities, but you will have some mana problems, so he ends up coming to the bounty runes eventually, and farms this camp in the meantime while popping his bottle and using the bounty runes. And that's really efficient. On top of that, he's level 7. You're pretty strong at this point. You can kill heroes. Like, you're really good at killing heroes. You're not good at fighting. This is the problem with Dazzle. You're good at picking people off. You deal a lot of damage, but you suck at fighting. You die really easily, and you're awful at defending yourself. And that is why I would avoid early skirmishes at all costs. You are good at responding to moves and finding pickoffs. Don't take skirmishes, okay? If they dive a tower, you can TP in and clean up. You're very good at cleaning up because you have a really good slow, but you're terrible at initiating fights and continuing fights. You're not a Void Spirit. You're not a Storm Spirit. You're not a sniper who can put out nukes from the backline. You're not these things. So Upcoming here is where I start to really begin to dislike his gameplay. Right here, what I would want him to do is stack Ancients, okay? I get that he's taking the rune, it's fine, but I want him to stack Ancients. Beautiful. He stacks Ancients, he contests the rune, okay, ends up almost dying. He has raindrops, which is good. Here, he should have went back to base and then looked to farm Ancients, ends up getting caught by a Pudge, which, I mean, well played to the Pudge. The Pudge got a haste, a little unlucky. Fine. I would have personally went back to base. It's okay. Now, from here on out, just stack. This is why I wish he just went back to base, cleared a mid-wave, stacked again, and then take the triple stack. You farm stacks faster than like any hero. You're better than TA. I'm not kidding, early on. You're literally better at farming stacks. But now, he starts getting picked off a bit, and he starts taking fights. He pushes out mid-wave. At this point, he walks onto the hill, and this hero, there's no wave here. It's just a mistake. Like, there's no wave here. It's not coming for a little bit. Just go farm Ancients. Let the enemy push the wave into you. You're really, really bad at staying alive. Most ganks kill you, especially when you're going the skill build. And so this is where he's super griefing the game. Then he respawns. He farms Ancients eventually, thank God. And I wish he just went to the left here and even thought about stacking the left side Ancients and taking this. And you might be like, oh, you're taking it away from your Timber. Optimally, in average pubs, no one farms Ancients in the off lane. Like, super uncommon. If they are, it's not the end of the world. You can farm these camps and still become really farmed. You can still just take this camp, this camp, this camp. It's okay. It's not optimal. Please aim towards the triangle, but you can do that. And at this point, you could have, I'm not kidding when I say he could be level 11. He could be level 11 with more than half of Ags if he just didn't get distracted, didn't take risk, and played on Ancient stacks. This smoke, I get it. His team right now, I can tell you for a fact, they're like, guys, we need to enable our mid. Get our mid active. Oh, God, it's Dazzle. It's Dazzle. I know he gets a little lucky here, but you're so bad. This hero 1v9s the game on Ags. What does the Ags do? It makes it where Shadow Weave can now bounce between enemies in addition to allies. So it starts to bounce. It applies an auto attack on everything it hits, so it deals a lot of damage. And it heals way more. It heals nearby allies 150% more if you heal them next to an enemy. If it's in a creep wave or next to a neutral camp or they're surrounded by enemy heroes, it will heal them for like 600-700 health. The timing is insane. You also become way tankier because you have a lot more stats, some armor. It's just a big, big difference. Yeah, you can see eventually he locks in. He's going to start to farm Ancients. But just be brain dead, guys. I'm going to skip ahead now to the mid game. Please just simplify the game. Don't do anything. I know it's hard for mid players to hear this, and I know people are like, stop advocating for AFK mid gameplay. Guys, there's a lot of ways you can play Dota. Yeah, if you want to optimize Dazzle mid, pick it when you have initiators on your team. Pick it when your offlaner is a high tempo hero that doesn't necessarily want the triangle, something like Primal Beast or Enigma, who hopefully will just kind of roam the map or win their lane and do their own thing. Now in this upcoming fight here, I really like this as an example of how good this timing can be, not because he destroys the fight, but his team is 5k behind. This is a game that's really not going well. In fact, it looks like they're going to probably lose. On paper, it looks like they're going to lose in the next few minutes, but you can start to see how good this timing is. I like that he takes the Poison Touch attack range. His neutral item, the shovel's fine because you use it in the river to get water runes and it helps you with mana problems. You will have mana problems, you need to buy raindrops, or you need a mana neutral item. But yeah, fight breaks out, Poison touches the Sand King, and look how far away you can hit from. Okay, he should be hitting. He even misclicks there, so he could have hit a little bit earlier. Now, he should heal Timber here because if they're next to an enemy, it heals for bonus. So it does a lot. So he should have healed a little bit faster. He should have clicked it on his Timber, but it heals Timber by quite a lot. You'll notice these burst heals are really efficient when it's next to an enemy hero, right? Gives them about 200-ish HP, and it's even better if they're in a creep wave, so it can be really efficient. Then you click your ult, and now Poison Touch is almost back up. Graves, another Poison Touch, puts it on the Pudge, and if you're in the backline and you're safe, you want to be on Agi Treads, so you have high attack speed, and you can spread it. Also notice, when you Shadow Weave, it applies another hit, because it's the Ags, right? The Ags applies a hit, so it synergizes with this facet where you want to be hitting people to spread the Poison Touch. And so now he's misclicking a lot. His positioning is not perfect. I'm being nitpicky, but this is a hero where you want to be very defensive in your positioning, right? Because you can hit from really far away due to this Poison Touch attack range, right? So you want to try to really use that. And so a little slow on hitting the Pudge, but it does spread the Poison Touch. Unfortunately, it was barely out of range of the Luna, which is a shame because it really would have kited her here. Her Manta's on cooldown. I actually think there's a good chance he kills her here if it splits. Unfortunately, it didn't split to her. He does get a nice heal off on the Ringmaster. Gets another Poison Touch off on the Luna, and I don't know why he's moving towards her. Again, Move away, guys. Away, away, away. Continue to kite out. They do end up losing this fight, but I thought it was a good example of how many spells you can put out, how much healing you can deal, how much damage you can deal if you have good positioning from the backline. As I said, I don't think people have this build optimized, which is why it has so much potential, because its win rate is good in high MMR, even though people I really believe are quite bad at it. All right, so for the next couple things, I cannot believe he takes Shadow Wave heal and damage. Obviously, it kind of makes sense with Ags, but like, guys, take attack speed and buy, if the game is hard, buy a Forward Staff and use it to reposition. If the game is easy, buy a Dragon Lance and click the heck out of people with this facet and this attack speed. It's an absurd timing, and you can get it. They're losing the game. He's not super farm. He's the lowest net worth core, and he's level 15 in minute 22 because Ancients give a stupid amount of XP. This is normal. You're going to be high level on this hero, and you have some of the best talents in the game, which is why, in my opinion, either you go BKB and you play off BKB, which would be good this game. They have Pudge and Sand King and Luna Eclipse and Snapfire ulti, so I would like Ags BKB. Very safe this game. Super fine with that. Or I would like the Force Staff, just to get out of Snap ulti and get away from Sandstorm, or out of Shrapnel. Right, so a lot of values in buying Force Staff because the game's a bit harder this game. Let's get into this team fight here. And by the way, this is a great Dazzle game. I think Dazzle Bristle is maybe my favorite combo. Why? Because Dazzle gives Bristle armor. Bristle has armor problems, right? Every time you touch Bristle with Grave or Shadow Wave, it gives him armor, and it reduces armor on enemies that get hit by your abilities, and you're constantly putting out these abilities with your facet and because of your ulti. And so it reduces armor, which is super good with Hairball and the minus armor of Bristleback. So this, and you want people to frontline. You just want people to run in and give you space. So best combo in the game. This is probably top one. I would say this is my favorite combo. I think it's really great. Bristle also loves healing because the hero can have some sustain issues. So yeah, if you're picking Dazzle mid or you want to do it with a friend, Bristle offlane or Bristle carry, really, really good. But yeah, let's look at the impact here from the backline. Gets out of heal. Should Poison Touch. Hits it on the multiple heroes. Graves early, but it's okay because you're going to lower the cooldown. Sometimes you can do that. By the way, when you grave people, they get heal amp. So it's good to grave them and then Shadow Weave them. I don't know why I keep saying Shadow Weave. Shadow Wave them, and that heals them for more. Then he's going to pop his ulti. Love that. He's very good about popping it quick. That's something, it's a lot of buttons. Dazzle mid is hard. You got to have good positioning. You got to auto attack, and you got to click 4 active abilities. This is a very high skill ceiling hero, but he's doing a good job of, he should hit the Sand King here. He's lacking a bit of auto attacks. But yeah, lives on a very small amount of HP. Another heal. Look how much that healed him for. Holy dude, because it gives you heal amp per missing 10% of health. So when you're very low on health, you're getting about like 50% heal amp at this point. It's way more when he maxes it out here. And so this heal is giving him like 70% heal amp or something, because now it's 8% per missing 10%. And because you're rarely missing 100% of your health. So it's like 90%. It's 9 times 8, right? And then look at that. Whew. So, man, when you hit this timing, you begin to heal like crazy, because now your Grave is an 18-second cooldown and you're lowering it by 5 seconds. Eventually, it's going to be a 6-second lowering, and it begins to get really crazy. Okay, now we're going to get to probably the coolest timing of this build. And sadly enough, he doesn't even get to see the full force of it. But guys, I'm telling you, this is really, really fun. So what is fun? The Shard. It applies Hex on Poison Touch. Now you might be like, yeah, Speed, I know. You lower the cooldown of Poison Touch, and you keep spamming Poison Touches, and it keeps hexing them. And yeah, that's true. It also kills illusions instantly, which is really cool, because that's just what hexes do, right? Lion Hex does the same thing. And so it's really cool, but there's another step to this. It works with the facet. So every single time you split the Poison Touch, it hexes again. And you can get to the point where if you take the attack speed talent and you buy right-click items, where you're attacking 4 times almost in the 1.6 second duration. Now, it doesn't re-hex the person you hit 4 times, so it's obviously not like you can perma-hex someone by hitting them. That would be really crazy, but it just throws out. You're just hexing like crazy. And it's easy because attack range talent, attack speed talent, defensive items. Just buy defensive items. There's a lot of angles you can go, as unfortunately in this fight he does get gone on. Why did the Ringmaster not put him in a box? Put bro in a box! And then finally, last items, you can just buy Octarine even with the right-click build. He's obviously going Yule's Octarine, which is fine. This is more of like the backline utility build. It's not bad. You can also buy things like Holy Locket if you want to go all into healing, and that's okay. Like, these builds are fine, but I just don't think they're nearly as potent and scale nearly as well as the right-click. So yeah, at this point, I would have my Pike, my Shadow Blade, and then eventually, once I have all of these mobility items so I can stay safe, hide in the back lane, and counter-initiate, as well as my Shard, I'll buy an Octarine Core. So I can get more Poison Touches out, more heals out, more Shadow Waves out, really play around my innate. Now, eventually in the late game, this hero becomes like, it's really funny on the Octarine timing. Yeah, the late game Octarine is pretty crazy. It did take the Poison Touch damage, which I like. I mean, it's an 127 damage per second nuke. And by the way, this damage amp, the Poison Touch DPS, also works on the facet. So the split damage goes up, which is pretty funny, right? And it's even bugged right now. At least it seems like it's bugged, because it should go up by 75, but it goes up by 60, which is the old level 20 talent. So I don't know, maybe Valve, if you're watching this, I don't know if it's bugged and it actually does do extra damage, but it's at least bugged in this, which I assume means it's bugged in the game. But yeah, fight breaks out. I like how he's positioning around the outside here. Poison Touch on a sniper, nice Hex. He's looking to apply the Poison Touch again. He should be Shadow Waving a little bit faster here. And at this point, you can just kind of throw out an early Grave, because Grave with Octarine is a 13.5 second cooldown, and you're lowering the cooldown by 6 seconds, and this is on a 2-second cooldown. So yes, it costs more health the more you use it, so you can't like literally spam it, but Grave is permanent uptime at this point of the game. It's perma. If you have Octarine, it's perma if you're using Bad Juju off cooldown. I'm not kidding. And so, yeah, you can keep someone up permanently if you don't get gone on, which at some point you're going to be killing yourself with your ult if you try to do that. So it's obviously limited a bit. But yeah, this hero is something. And as you can see, he's having so much impact without right-clicking. He's not being efficient with his right-clicks. He didn't even go that build. And the thing is, this heal build, all this healing shenanigans, works with the other build. In fact, I think it's better because you have more mobility items. Right? I think that this Blink doesn't necessarily keep you alive nearly as well as a Pike. I think that Yules doesn't keep you alive nearly as well as just buying Shadow Blade and positioning well. And yeah, I mean, the BKB and Octarine are good. But okay, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. I know this build's a little controversial, and some people will absolutely grief the shit out of games by playing it wrong. But if you do everything I say in this video, I assure you it's really cool, it's really strong, and I think more players should look into it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. And I'm out. Peace.
And that's all, but remember, before you leave, before you tune out, subscribe to the GameLeap website, where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace.